You know, when I first joined TISA, I assumed we are gonna be meeting here when I first joined.
Really?
Yeah. Doctor Wilson.
Like I saw someone. IT able to access one. For a car, and she was like, "Oh, I called the one of for you and I was like, who else would you recommend?" Like, I'm like, I'm like, I'm sure she did. I just feel better. Yeah, I get, it's a lot. Yeah. And it's like, no, well, for like group A, which is like 20 hours, because group B is like, okay, but it's like, it's so. Gotcha. So, you know, there's like a flexibility, but like time was only. It's very nice. I find it like very helpful. Yeah. I was holding it. Interest in.
Danny.
That's all you go.
I just,
Medical school. I just realized you're so good at it. That's the only reason I asked.
Muy bueno.
don't tell me that, don't.
Or
I
maybe you're
have
just good at
that.
everything.
No, not even. I'll be on.
I didn't see it. Look at those.
Pesos, like.
Claro, todo está bonito. El sol está.
It's already.
El sol brilla.
It's just like the.
Yeah.
You guys have your
Wanna get into.
nameplate?
Like, say like,
Not on me,
Yeah.
but I have it.
I thought, oh my God, yeah. I'm not. So. And then I was like.
Hey, Keegan, are we with?
Sorry. I'm hungry. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Another guy from like.
Okay, we are. Wonderful.
Being a quorum, council is in attendance, I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with attendance. Emma?
I'm a Fox present.
Jessica Little present.
Maria Garcia present.
Survey call present.
Roland Casey present.
Patrick Cervera, present.
Sky Childress present.
Matthew Rathbun, present.
Anyone else online? Wonderful. We will continue on. Reading of the mission statement. Do I have a volunteer? Patrick.
To support the evolving needs of the MSU Denver students by advocating the best interest to enhance diversity experience and opportunities.
Wonderful. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from March 30th. Are there any discussion points or debates?
I will motion to approve.
I second that.
Wonderful. We have a motion to adopt the minutes. I'm also going to motion to amend the minutes to change verbal confirmation to verbal affirmation in each instance that it's used to reflect in our rules. Is there a second to my motion to amend?
Second that.
Okay, so we'll vote on the motion to amend. Is there any other debate on the motion to amend? Okay, any opposition? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. It was seconded by Rowan. Is there any more debate on the minutes? Seeing none, is there any opposition? The adoption. Seeing none, that's adopted. We'll move on to the minutes from 3/16. Any debate or motions? Patrick,
Motion to approve.
motion to adopt from Patrick,
Second.
seconded by Maria. Further debate? None. Any opposition? The minutes pass. We'll move on to approval of the agenda for today. Are there any alterations? I do want to note that Dr. Simpkins will not be here at 3:32, and instead will we be expecting 4? Was that the time, Stephen? Okay. Wonderful. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I motion to adopt the agenda.
Made from Rowan. Is there a second? Seconded by Irvi. Is there any opposition? Seeing none, those pass. We'll move on to our agenda. I am going to table this visit from Dr. Simpkins until he shows. We'll move on to announcements and updates, starting with our staff members.
Good afternoon, everyone. Elections are open. Please encourage folks to vote, vote, and that's all I have for now.
The only.
Any other staff members that would like to give an update?
And there's so, are you done?
Yeah, no, well, we're gonna do it later.
Okay.
Yeah. we're
Um,
good.
I can go. Am I a staff member?
Yeah, go right ahead, please.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Yeah, elections are open. It's been really cool. Like the last 2 events that we had around like 20 students for the karaoke one. Thank you for everybody who came. And then for the drag show event also, we had around 20. And it was really powerful. It was really like community engagement. They definitely got some information about what PSEC is and what you all do. So students are excited. We're in like day 2 officially of this, like in campus, and we're already at 200 votes, which is like really, really, really exciting, including paper ballots. So yeah, that's all I have. Thank you. If you're, tell your peers to vote. This is exciting.
Want to get to 500 at least.
I hope you have 10 days.
Any other staff members? Seeing none, we'll move on to standing committees and ad hoc committee,
Why do you look at me?
because you're the chair of a standing committee.
Okay, I'll go. For the budget, we have progress for the budget guidelines and procedures. And I have been working on the marketing side of things for PR. I mean, it also includes the budget. So for the funding that we allocated the money to the orgs and how it helped them. So that's basically it.
Other standing committee chairs. I'll go next. If you are available and want to come to a confirmer training tomorrow from 11 to 2, please let me know. I can make sure you get RSVP'd and you can show. So far we have
Will be so.
like, I think it's 60% MSU students have RSVP'd out of all the RSVPs so far. So very exciting. And stay tuned for Earth Week volunteer requests, please. Steffi?
I can give an update on behalf of PR. So we have Casa de Paz events packing with purpose on Thursday, 11:30 to 2:30. So if you're able to stop by, please do so. Also, that goes with the delegates as well. If you're able to help, please help for that event. We're running after dark, the resolution soon. Soon we'll have send out a when to so people can help out, delegates as well. Please help during that event. And and PR is collaborating with Sustainability to host an event. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Patrick?
How many individuals do we have volunteered for the 2 upcoming events?
What was that?
How many individuals do we have volunteered or signed up for those events?
For those events, so we have not, let me check, I have not checked, that's a very good question. So, for this Thursday's event, it's pretty, there's a lot of people. Let me check, for Road Runner After Dark, yeah, we have a good amount of people, yeah. So, but however, not everybody has filled it out, so please fill it out, delegates as well. So if you're not, for delegates that don't know how to fill this out, you just put like your name and you can put like unavailable and then click a time and then type it. Just so we can see that you filled it out but are not available.
Emma?
I just wanted to also say, I don't remember if I filled out the cost of the house one, but for those that have the town hall, if anybody is running, you won't be able to do that overlap, so just keep that in. Yeah, so I won't be there from.
Patrick?
I'm not sure if we have too many for Casa de Paz, but it's always helpful to have more hands. I mean, honestly, it makes things a lot quicker. It makes things a lot easier for individuals. Makes the experience a lot better. The more the merrier, you know. So I would definitely suggest, like, for delegates, if you have time, definitely stop by, make some time for it, help out. It's definitely gonna be fun. It's gonna be food. There's gonna be some information there. It's not gonna be anything like super boring. So it's fun. So I definitely recommend to go. I yield.
Okay, any other standing committees or ad hoc committees?
And then I have more to add on.
Okay, go ahead.
We have study session on May 4th. So we'll have some like earlier, like we did, like putting out some snacks in the library for students to grab and go. So that's what we have for study session. And then we have food for finals from 11th May and 12th May from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. We'll be setting up at 7:30 and then we tear down at 11:30-ish. The food item is still being finalized and the flyer is ready. So it's good to like spread it out in your classrooms too. And then that's it.
Patrick?
Would you recommend us to send an email to the professor ahead of time before we announce it to the classrooms?
We'll discuss first.
Well, I guess we would have to create another resolution first, to start purchasing. We're still in the planning stage. So after a resolution is passed and, you know, it's confirmed that we can purchase, we'll probably be able to share that flyer with everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Is there anyone that objects to having every fund manager give a report of their fund at the next TSEC meeting? A report of what's left, what's expected to be spent? Genuine question. I mean, you guys can totally object to that if you don't want that, but
Temperature check?
yeah, just curious.
What is it?
Like fund managers. So each committee chair is a fund manager. I know Stephen manages a few. Budget committee and budget chair manages a few more than that. Just so we can see how much money we have left in each fund. Think about sort of the last few weeks of our term, what we want to do with that.
I think that's a great idea.
I know I can bring one for sustainability, but.
Yeah, budget 0.
Okay, cool. I believe that we don't need to vote or anything, just maybe you guys could all bring one. I'll certainly bring one. We'll move on to advisory committees. I'll see hands. So much. Advisory committees. Maria.
I sort of have an update on the code of conduct. We recently got back all of the data or the feedback based on our initial student code of conduct document, our draft, and we are planning on making edits on that. So once the edits are final, I will go ahead and remind TSEC to go ahead and say any suggestions that they have on that. That's it.
Does anyone else seek recognition for the purposes of talking about their advisory committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to open floor. Do you have something? Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
I do, and Scott, I may, this is not necessarily asked of you, but you and Faye and potentially Matt when he was there. I know SACAB, particularly Jared was talking about some kind of bill signing party. And I just wanted to see where that was because I know they set a date for April 20th for the event. And it seemed like other student governments were contributing money, so I don't know if that was on the docket, if you all had had a chance to discuss that. I'm only asking because it came to my attention, the other directors of their schools reached out.
Nathan?
What's the bill signing party?
I'm gonna go next. This is just Steven asking me a question. So I'm on SACAB, so is now Faye and formerly Matt. The bill that SACAB has been advocating to pass at the legislature is now law. So SACAB will have a vote, one vote on the board of directors, as well as FACAB will have one vote on the board of directors for AHEC, starting in October, and then until the state legislature decides to change that. Which is wonderful because that's written into state law now that we have a vote, the students and faculty of this campus have a vote on the area board of directors. So that's the bill signing party. I don't even know if it was, I don't think it was signed. I think it just passed because Paulus didn't veto it. I could be wrong. Let's decide the last day of his tech, but I'm pretty sure it did pass. So yeah, it's now law. So there was a request for money. I haven't voiced this to TSAC. I told SACAB's chair that I would bring this to TSAC in a resolution if I was going to look for money from them at the next meeting of TSAC after this meeting, because the request came in to me Friday after the agenda was closed. And so I was like, well, sorry. And so if we want to contribute to that, I will be speaking to fund managers next week. Not next week, this week, because it's Monday. This week, in preparation for writing a resolution, if anyone has any money left in their funds. Just keep a lookout in case we do want to do that. Not that we have to give money to this, but if we wanted to, we could. Any other open floor or any other on this point Stephen's brought up?
Well, not at that point, not at that point.
Oh, other open floor with Patrick.
I have been told that for FSL banner, which we was introduced to us, I think, early in the semester, fall semester. We're there to support and to be present. I want to see, I got an update that it has been holding off on it. I wanted to see if that could be something that for the SACAB representatives bringing up, or at least have a question regarding about it, or what can we do to see that? Because I think we did sign that over back in, I want to say October. Been like months.
On the FSL banner initiative, is that the name of this project? Okay, initiative. The FSL banner initiative. Stephen, do you have any idea of where it's at in AHEC and who is the best contact person for that project at the AHEC level?
Yeah, there are two contexts. Well, let's go with three contexts. So the first two contact are MSU Denver specific contact. So Tony Aho is overseeing the project as of where it's at right now. Also Ruth McGonigal from marketing and communications. The other person from AHEC who is involved in this is Carl Meese. What I can share with you all is there was some holdup with branding because AHEC had initially changed their branding, did not send the right specs to Tony's team, finally got the right specs. Then we learned that the artwork on the banners needed to change because of some design specs from MSU Denver side. So there are three folks who are sort of overseeing this aspect. I would say Tony, in terms of making sure that the banners get changed, Ruth from the MSU branding side of it and the printing side of it, and then Carl is sort of overseeing the entire project. I will share openly with you all that it came to a surprise to both Tony and I when the holdup all of a sudden came about. We were first told, well, this needs to go up through MSU Denver leadership. And then all of a sudden we're getting advertisement, branding issues. So it just seemed like there was cause for delay, not by us. And I feel like we, as a department trying to do this, are getting our own version of the road run runaround to make this happen. So we're trying as diligently as we can to make this happen. I will tell you that Tony herself, she has the Osceola Award ceremony coming up. She is still trying to support clubs and organizations, given the amount of student orgs that we do have. So there is a lot, and she is also overseeing sorority and fraternity life right now. So there's a lot right now on our plate that I'm trying to work with her on. That's what the holdup was, Patrick. A lot of what was going on. It first started with approvals needed to go up. They did. We got approvals. Then there was a question about whether or not they were supposed to go through student governments and through SACAP. They did. Then the next question came about the design element. We followed specific design elements. And then on March 16th, we learned that some of the design changes that AHEC had requested some spec design in terms of logos and whose logos are actually on the banners.
What's the current status? Who are we waiting on now?
We are waiting to update the banners from CMEI, and we are then need to communicate with the vendor to make this happen. So it's really on us, CMEI.
What's the current timeline of like when we could get these banners up if there's no other hiccups?
I think what we are trying to do now, that the plan was to do it during Greek Week, which is this week. That could not happen. So the new plan is to do it during Ready, Set, Rowdy Welcome Month and host a specific event during Welcome Month. I think either during Community Week, which is week 2, or during Homecoming Week, which this year will be incorporated into Ready, Set, Rowdy. That's an update I'll share with you later.
Thank you, Steven.
Thank you.
So I think the best thing to do is Patrick, let's talk offline too, because I could show you where this got held up specifically, and what had happened with this.
I think TSEC's spoken pretty clear on this one because we wrote a resolution on it. Patrick, do you just want to be like our point person for this in the future? If any other hiccups happen, you just talk to them on behalf of us?
If the council so chooses so.
Well, I motion to appoint you to that role.
I second that.
Seconded by Will. Is there any discussion on this appointment as a spokesperson for this niche issue? Seeing no discussion, is there any opposition to Patrick's appointment? Patrick, you are so appointed. Congrats. Okay, wonderful. Move on. Any other open floor?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Will.
Nathan, you wish to discuss who we met with earlier?
Yeah, so we met with a student, his name's Tim. He's right now having several issues with faculty on campus as well as several organizations on campus, and how his case also expands into other companies that are also involved. Right now, since Will be graduating, and since it's a very large case, I will be tackling his issues and I'm going to be doing some investigation to what's been going on. What he described to me sounds a lot like the way he described it as corruption, student faculty making decisions based on how they like him rather than the situation. So me and Will did meet with him today, and he's right now very much very nervous and very scared about not only the whole situation, but the campus being involved. He says he's getting law involved. There's been a lot of misconduct. He says he has a terabyte of information, stuff that he can send to me. I said to him, go ahead and send it all to me. I'll look at all of it. So yeah, that's what's going on with this student. He was actually the speaker on the camera last Monday.
A terabyte is a lot. Oh my,
A terabyte?
Terabyte.
okay.
I mean, I looked through thousands of lines of code, so.
Is there any discussion on this, and do we want to hear back a report back in the future, or what are we looking for on this?
I will be compiling a report of everything I found and basically see what kind of resolution we can come to. I cannot guarantee that everything I find will be in the favor of him, or I cannot guarantee that what I find will look bad on us. Regardless, I do think that this is an important case to tackle, and an outside investigation is kind of what the student really needs because he felt like the school has failed him.
That's definitely something.
It might make sense for you to speak also to is it Karin? Is that how you say her name? Karin? Not necessarily specifically about it, but just to ask her questions about the process itself. I know that from my recollection of the public comment from last week, it was a lot of issues with process, and I think seeking clarification from her is a good idea too. But just
I absolutely plan on it. Thank you very much.
any other open floor? Wonderful. We'll move on to old business. I'm going to pass the presiding chair off to my co-chair, Patrick, because I wrote this.
All right. All righty, moving for amendment 4, ensuring the returns to the TSEC counselor and are not teaching students with a code of conduct. Move it off to Scott.
You guys saw this last week. Changes are adding the paragraph at the bottom that you see highlighted in yellow on the screen. In front of you, it's just sort of a different color of cream than the paper is. I think it'd be good to resume our conversation from earlier. Do you want me to read it? What do you want?
Do you mind reading it?
I'm going to read it. Abstract, this amendment changes the SU TSEC constitution so that the requirement that TSEC counselors have, quote, no record of student misconduct, end quote, be vacated and replaced with an opportunity for students who have a history of misconduct to be eligible if they meet certain criteria. Therefore, be it resolved, the following changes to the SU TSEC constitution is adopted with the changes highlighted in yellow. Article 1, Section 2, Subsection 1, the council shall be composed of students who are enrolled for a full academic year, fall to spring semester, and have no record of student misconduct per MSU Denver's codes of conduct and have no record of student misconduct per MSU Denver's codes of conduct striked. Hold a GPA of no less than 2.5 and have a minimum of 9 credit hours distributed throughout the academic year for undergraduate students and a minimum of 6 credit hours distributed throughout the academic year for graduate students, with the student having no less than 3 credits in a single semester. New words, otherwise eligible students who have been found responsible for violating the MSU Denver Student Code of Conduct may be disqualified as candidates by the Elections Commission if the commission is concerned the student's participation in SU TSAC could cause harm to other members of TSAC or to the MSU Denver students. Decisions of the Elections Commission on disqualification may be appealed to the then sitting Accountability Committee for final determination. Appealing a decision is optional and would require the student making the appeal to disclose their conduct file to the Accountability Committee voluntarily, or the appeal could not be heard. At any stage in considering disqualification or an appeal, the Elections Commission and/or Accountability will consider a student's past actions from a lens of restorative justice in line with the principles of SU TSAC, with decisions being made on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you.
Go team.
Is there any discussion for, we're beginning discussion, anyone that wants to pass a motion?
I'd love to.
Scott?
I'd love to talk to us on it. So this is the new version and the one that was printed previously. And it, what it would do is instead of having there be a specific criteria that qualifies candidates based on their conduct file or having no record of misconduct, it gives the Elections Commission or a little bit more authority to disqualify a candidate if they feel that their history of misconduct with the MSU Denver Student Code of Conduct Office would put other members of TSAC or the MSU Denver students at risk. I feel like this is a good, what you call it?
Will.
A good way to draw a line in between there. I invite questions or debate.
Seeing as an opportunity today in our guests.
I think it does make sense that to table, yeah.
All right. I'll say to table this and I'll hand it up since I didn't share it back to Sky.
Wonderful. Okay, Dr. Simpkins, welcome.
Hi,
Would you like to chat with us for a minute?
sure.
I would love to hand. it off
Anything
to you.
specific?
Oh,
I'm kidding. I've got notes from you.
federal government as always, you know.
Did they do something?
Oh, always.
Always.
The
Yeah.
day.
Sorry, one thing that came up actually over the weekend that I would love to hear about too. I don't know if you have it on your dome, but the anti-Semitism investigation from the Colorado Commission Office for Civil Rights, I believe, came back on like Friday or something.
I have not seen
Okay, never mind.
it, so I am not in the know on that.
Wonderful.
But I do have a list of things that were on your minds.
Very nice.
I have capital construction update, budget update, enrollment update, and changes we're planning to improve the student experience. Anything else you want me to talk about? No?
Keep an open mind.
Open mind.
Okay.
Keep it open.
It's open. It's open. It's so open, I can't even grow hair up there anymore.
Keegan, can you also make sure we're monitoring the online, just to make sure someone doesn't pop in, because public comment, I believe is during this time in case someone does walk in, because we had a little bit of a scheduling issue, so
Got it.
go ahead.
Hi, Medina. I yield to Medina. You work in my office, you know as much as I do, right? Yeah, yeah. No, actually, we love Medina and Sarah, and part of the strategy in our office is always making sure we have to work there to keep us focused and centered in hearing the real story. And so if you're ever looking for a job and we ever have vacancies, you're welcome to stop by. I feel like I'm starting the State of the Union. The state of the institution is strong. But it really is. So capital construction, I think you could see it out of one of those two windows. Summit House is rising. I think we're on floor 7 now. The first 2 floors are concrete and steel construction. Everything above that, up to floor 12, is mass timber, which means that you will see a new floor just about every 7 to 8 working days going up. The structure goes up really fast, and then we'll be spending the rest of this year on the interiors. And I think there were even some exterior walls going up last time I looked. So it's going really well. It is on time and on budget, which is exactly what you want to hear when you're managing a construction project. Was also over by the Health Institute today, so that work is going as planned. And then right behind that is the pool project in the PE Center, which I don't believe any work has started over there yet, but you may see some fencing outside the building as we're getting ready for it. AHEX projects also, from what I gather, going on speed, on course, on budget. The public safety building, the Tivoli Reimagine, is just a program plan. And so that is only a document that goes to the state to show them that we have a viable vision for what their dollars could invest in. It's not a design, so it's not a final, like what the building will be product. I've been through lots of capital projects here, and the first documents and the last documents usually have common themes, but not a lot of common walls, shall we say, as things evolve. We're also building out the operation of housing, right? So we'll be signing some contracts for new food vendors in the next few weeks. For the first floor of that building, we have hired an executive director of housing, and he will be hiring his staff over the next few months. That will all culminate in hiring, I believe it's 18 resident assistants. So those will be students who live in the building who also support through peer mentoring and peer advocacy other students living in the building. So feeling good about that. The budget is not as bad as it could have been.
Good to hear.
And that is like the official talking point. We are essentially, from what I gather in the JBC long bill, getting a flat allocation from the state. It could have been cut. The state, the numbers sort of change, and the final number was $1.5 billion structural deficit in the state's budget. And for those of you who follow this nerdy finance stuff, actually it's nerdy political stuff, there's something called the Big Six. The Big Six state agencies that eat up most of the budget: health, human services, higher education, and some others. But it's really the big three: K-12, higher ed, and health. Health and K-12 are statutorily mandated to have certain budgets. Higher ed is not. And so in previous recessions, when the state has lost revenue, they've really cut higher ed. In 2009, the state did some pretty catastrophic cuts. We're not there. That's not this year. So this year, the state is balancing things with a little bit of one-time money. Yes, they are passing the buck, quite literally, to next year, passing the bill to next year, because all that one-time money, you have to find money to actually sustain it. But for this year, we should be seeing a flat allocation from the state. I don't believe Outback has agreed upon an enrollment projection that they are going to use, and it is way too early in the fall cycle for me to say anything about how we're doing, because we've only been open for a week or so. But I would say last year we conservatively planned in the budget for flat enrollment, and we came in a little over 3% up. And so our policy says anytime we have revenue that we didn't account for, we first put that in our reserves until our reserves hit the mandatory 15% mark. And so that's what happened with the additional revenue from the general fund tuition. So I'm feeling good about enrollment. We're trying some new things, new communication things, there's a new orientation this year that will allow incoming new students to register earlier rather than waiting for their orientation date. They can essentially start registering now as they meet with their advisors, and we will have orientations that get folks involved over the summer. And so when I think about the student experience next year, I would say there's two things that are in my head. One is what we might broadly call your customer service experience. And then the other is this a place you want to spend time? Sort of the campus activation. And I think we're making progress on both. So numerically, I can tell you from a customer service range, we are answering calls in the call center faster with less hold times than compared to last year. So I watch those basically on a weekly basis to see how the call center is doing and if we need to triage down there. We just spent a week ago today in Glenwood Springs looking at Workday, the new student information system, with a bunch of other folks from Colorado who are also implementing. And we got an early view of some of the AI agents that are going to be deployed within Workday. And I think it's going to really support the student experience. It should mean that transcripts get evaluated faster. How many of you are transfer students? Did it take more than 2 weeks to get your transcripts done? More than a month? Oh, yeah.
Not more than a month.
Not more than a month.
Okay. I can tell which years you entered the institution. There was a year about 3 years ago where it was like 3 months to get a transcript evaluated. We try to keep it to about 2 weeks or less now. 10 days is really 10 business days, unless there's something going on within it. But our goal is to get it to essentially within a day or two of your admission, that we've reviewed your transcript and can tell you which credits go where. The other is agentic AI really revolutionizing the call center experience. I got to hear the University of Montana's call line at a conference a month ago. His name is Bertha. We will not be naming ours Bertha, but you call Bertha, and the person demoing it was like the worst person in the world, right? Not letting Bertha finish an answer before she's asking a new question. I mean, she grilled Bertha about everything from financial aid to registration to why her parents can't get access to things, to her accommodations for her classes. And Bertha was able to pivot and answer questions. And I think we're not there yet, but that's sort of what I'm looking at on the horizon is what I hope for. And then continuing to activate campus. This year already feels more activated than even prior to the pandemic. Walking around campus, seeing so many people still here. I mean, it's this late in the semester and students are still coming to campus is something new for us. But also the number of events, the tents that are out on campus, the tables that are going on. It's giving me signals that stuff's really happening. So when I'll give you one last thing and then I'll shut up. When we heard that student event funding was running low earlier this semester, that's not what we want. That's not how you have an activated campus. So prior to, I think Stephen was able to move some things around on his budget. We actually went to the provost and said, can you support? Because we don't want to just say no. And the provost's office was ready to do that. And so that is one lever that I know we need to work on is the amount of dollars going to our student events. And I'll stop there. Grill me.
Do we have a name, potential names for our version of Bertha yet?
We don't. I mean, you can probably guess it's going to be Rowdy something.
It's like, yeah.
But if you want to name Rowdy, Rhoda the Roadrunner, Rhonda. I like Rhoda.
Okay.
You all are too old, too young for Rhoda. Rhoda was, best friends of, what was the show? Valerie Harper. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Will.
Yes.
Primary Will, please ask me a question. I'm other Will in this room.
Primary will.
I'm holding a joke.
Please do. Please do.
Thank you for being here.
Sure.
I do have a question about something you mentioned earlier about it not looking potentially so well in the future, correct? Is that?
I would say we should prepare ourselves for the budget not getting any better at the state level. Now, there's a lot of variables that
Right.
can change that picture. Federal, state tax policy,
Yeah.
the economy.
Right.
What I would say our biggest lever to combat that is enrollment. And I do see enrollment continuing to grow.
Okay.
So I hope that's able to buffer us a little. We had record first year retention last year. We brought in, when you don't count for concurrent enrollment, so there's high school students, our new student population was 5% bigger than the year before. So I'm optimistic about our enrollment growth opportunities.
I'd love to hear that. With that, does admin have a plan for the other direction?
Yeah. Who was it that said I have the broad concepts of a plan? What person running for office? Was that Trump?
From.
Okay, concepts. I won't say that.
To say that.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Maybe Churchill said.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we are clear on what our values are. Not just cadre, but on our access mission, on financial support for our students, our teaching mission. So that means supporting our faculty, supporting our staff, supporting our people. We're really clear on what all that is. When we have to make trade-offs, that at a scale different from where we are right now, I think that it's going to involve a lot more inclusive shared governance than just the six of us going into a room. We have an inclusive budget process here for a reason, the UPBAC. And I will tell you, of the 3 institutions I've worked at professionally, this is by far the most transparent in terms of how the budget is shaped and vetted and ideas cultivated to get that memo that goes to the president. I never knew what was going on with the budget as a lower level person. And now I think there's a lot more access to that information. And so that's what I would expect as we move forward. We're never going to be, we don't want to chicken little anybody or catastrophize for catastrophizing's sake. We also don't want to be, too rose-colored glasses.
Right.
So we budget conservatively here for a reason.
Thank you. Patrick. I know. I was going to him after you.
Look, he go first.
Okay.
All right. All right. So one thing I would like to figure out is now the more students that enroll, the more students that continuously enroll, the more budget we can have, and we can be more prepared for the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
A big thing that definitely needs to be addressed, at least I feel like needs to be addressed when it comes to continuous enrollment. To not now, we call it the road runner runaround, but there's another problem, and and I actually had this expressed to other students. A great example of this, I have someone in my computer science 1 class, says he cannot graduate his engineering degree unless he takes that class. He's already proficient in Java, and that's what we're learning. And he's even told me like he cannot wait to never step foot on this campus ever again. I'm thinking that this is because no one is bothering to analyze this, like what his needs and what his degree is for. And it's just being improperly handled for his education.
yeah.
I feel like this is not a one-off case. I've overheard it from other students themselves. As a returning student, and years in the, in the working world, I can see the falter of value when it comes to education. And I hate to say it like this, but there's a lot of mandatory classes that are completely worthless to one's education. Now, I hear the argument for the other side too many times, but I've been in the other world.
Sure.
I know it's not true.
Well,
But that being said, though, what can really help out, and what I feel like a lot of students are missing out on, especially him for engineering, clubs, organizations. This is what keeps people going back to campus.
Yeah.
Keep people going back to school. It is, in my opinion, while that problem, it cannot be easily addressed. One thing I'm really glad that Metro is really emphasizing on is organizations and clubs. The more we have this growth in these organizations, we don't feel a liability, not just to go to class, but to go to these clubs and be with your friends. Like if I had the choice to like, oh, Nathan, you can graduate next year once you get your associates and you'll be good to go. I wouldn't want to do that, not because I don't feel like a career path won't be lined up for me, but because I'm enjoying these organizations I'm in so much that I want to spend more time in them. And I also want to help other students grow as well as strengthening my education. So when it comes to handling, I kind of disconnected my previous point, but regardless, because I disconnected it because I realized I won't get a good resolution. But when it comes to this resolution, clubs, organizations, supporting them, helping them do things, I find so important. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to answer.
Sorry about that first one.
No, it's okay. I'm going to answer both.
Okay.
First is make sure your friend knows about our prior learning, credit for prior learning process. So there are options to actually test out of classes.
I never even heard of that.
Yep, it's through the registrar's office. And so if they just walk up to the registrar's desk on the first floor, they can get all the information.
Gotcha.
The other thing I would tell you is we know that the first group of students that we lose due to retention are first year students. The second largest group are seniors. So we're losing students right before they graduate, right? And so that tells me something's going on in the system. So right now, as part of the university strategic plan, we have a completion working group that is looking at how do we get students across the finish line. So I'm sure they would welcome your input and observations. Matt Kring is one of the co-chairs of that, and I think Sarah Shoemate is the other. And just like you have me and President Davidson come in, if you haven't already, I would strongly encourage you to invite Provost Makeley to come and hear your thoughts on your academic experience, your advising experience. He's done that for my student advisory board a couple of times, and I think he's got it's good for students to hear what he's working on, but it's also really good for him to hear what you're working on. I got my start in higher ed through a club. I was president of my campus's LGBT student organization. It's why I'm here today. It is the bedrock of my entire career. And so I think they're really critical. I know CMEI does a lot of work to support them. I want to make sure that they're funded. I want to make sure that we're making it easier to be a student organization at MSU Denver, and that we're wrapping them with lots and lots of support. So to the extent that you've got better ideas on how we can do that, Stephen's your dude.
Awesome. And once again, sorry about that long-winded discussion.
Patrick?
Thank you. I've been told also from some individuals, from their advisors have recommended not to take as many summer classes, as that's going to be a situation going on for not necessarily just this semester, but in the fall and semesters from here, for summer courses, there's going to be very limited here on MSU. That's something that advisors have been telling the students. Is that something?
I'm not aware of that. I've heard rumblings of that. I would say that's another great question for the provost.
William?
I have a question actually for Patrick.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Why are advisors telling students not to do summer classes?
I'm recommending it as they're just letting them, informing them that those summer classes aren't going to be available, that they should try looking for them during fall and spring semester. Because obviously here in MSU, most individuals, we're not the most common university, but that what makes us unique. It gives the capacity for individuals from any time point in their career to come here and study. Most people try coming in here for 1 or 2 years, kind of like you said, some individuals want to come in here, get a degree and leave, and some individuals want to stay. For individuals want a degree and leave, they've been starting to be informed that there's going to be less classes available for those summer classes. So they let them know that don't depend on those summer classes coming in the following years.
So I'm hearing availability issues potentially.
Yeah. I meet with the provost tomorrow. I'll ask him if he knows anything, what he's thinking.
I'm registered for
Thank
summer
you.
classes. I'm a great.
Good job. Listen, I graduated in 3 years from college, not because I'm some smart brain, but because I had lots of concurrent enrollment from high school, AP tests, and every summer I took classes. I did not want to go home.
Are you registered for fall classes yet, guys? Like those that aren't graduating, I guess.
Yeah.
I am.
Nice.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Good job. We like
I
it.
just don't want to fill up.
Summer is,
Okay.
summer is really important. I mean, listen, I took 12 credits a semester because I didn't like 15 credits. I liked doing a lot of other things, but it was important then that I did January classes, the summer classes, to keep that 30 credits a year, to keep making progress toward the degree.
But now they drop 10 week to 5 week, like for us.
Well, there's both. So there's 2 5-week sessions and then there's 1 10-week session. So it overlaps it.
Maria?
Yeah, so I know there's been a lot of talk about student housing, construction. It's opening up pretty soon. However, I haven't really heard any talk about the safety of students. For example, who is going to be able to go ahead and enter in there? Will it be badge access? There's going to be food and beverage, but is that also open to people who are just in the area?
Yeah.
How will that work?
The first floor will be open. It's like a food market. So anyone, even folks going to Ball Arena could go in there and eat. The second floor is the C2 hub, and that'll be mostly open so that folks want to go up there, and even staffed at night. So if you want to go up and eat your dinner and sit in one of their comfy chairs on the second floor, we'll also have a nice balcony. But to go third floor or above, it will be badge access only. And the desks on the third and second and first floor will be staffed when the building is open. And then at night, we go to badge access, and probably there'll be like someone in the elevator lobby checking IDs before people go up. But the elevators will be badge access at all times. And then part of the pro forma is also to, I believe, add dollars to ACPD. And this is what CU Denver did when they opened City Heights, so that we can increase the night, the presence of security on campus at night, just to ensure. If you've ever been here at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock when something's letting out at Ball Arena, it's a bit of a madhouse. And so we just want to make sure that everybody's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then watch for things like rates and pictures of what the rooms are going to look like. All of that should probably start hitting in October of this year. So we can, and we would probably open contracts early spring 27, and then, of course, open fall 27.
Irby.
About Maria's follow-up, is it open to CU Denver students like we are using housing for MSU Denver students?
Yeah.
Are they so open to come to our housing?
So I think we have sort of reached a mutual pact among between CU and MSU. And so there'll be a period of time where all of our buildings are open to our students only. And then after that period, whatever vacancies remain, we would open up to other institutions. And we would also be comfortable opening up to CCD.
Yes.
Sorry, I have one more question.
Go ahead, Irby.
About Bertha, how are we securing the data privacy of students since we are depending on third-party AI platforms? So
Yeah.
And what was the previous software that we used for Bertha?
So we don't, Bertha's not us. That's what the University of Montana uses. Right now, we in the call center technology doesn't actually see student data. It's all humans doing that. But it's supported by Banner, which is our student information system. And so all student data, most student data lives inside Banner. Your records from the counseling center do not live inside Banner. Those are in titanium and they are separate, totally separate and totally confidential. Same with the health center records, but your student records live inside Banner. In the new version, Workday replaces Banner, and hopefully Workday will have some of those AI agents just baked in, like it's part of what they offer. And so our contract with Workday would protect all of that. Where we bring in third-party organizations or companies, we have extensive contracts with them around protecting data. So in the event that there is a data breach, our contracts typically say what their responsibility is to our students. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Patrick.
So as far as orientation, who would be like our best contact to see like how those days are? Because I feel like if we try jam and packing everything into like one day, I've been here like 4 years and like I'm still learning something like every day, right? For example, like the prior learning thing, like obviously like a lot of students here are, some of them aren't the typical 18-year-old, right? So how can we address the situation so students, when they come to this orientation, isn't necessarily just to learn everything basic, but to learn the things that may be help in their academic career at MSU, possibly expanding that as well.
So John Babcock is the director of orientation. He's your direct connect over there. What I would say is, and I was an orientation leader back in the day too. I don't expect that any student remembers any specific piece of information from orientation. It's overwhelming. It's complex. You're just trying to make sure you get to the right place at the right time. What I want students to take away from orientation is a vibe. Like I want them to leave orientation and know, wow, there's something for me here. There are people that share my interests and background and experience, and I can find community here. And that when I need resources, they have resources. And I know who to go to and ask what those resources are. Because you're right, if we try to be like, Patrick, by the end of orientation, you need to remember all 50, student resource pieces of information or academic policy. You're never going to. The other piece of that is through our student communication strategy. We're trying to figure out how to get just-in-time resources to students more aggressively. So the runner today, great example of like, if you want to get funding for an internship, if you want to vote in an election because you like or don't like something, that's what you do. So vibes and just in time. But John Babcock.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
Ethan?
Yes. So when it comes to the seniors, you said a large amount of like dropouts are going to be the seniors. I feel like a part of that has to do, they're going to seek a degree, but they can't get a job in their field. They can't get an internship. We have so many resources to help connect students. But either A, it's not working out as well as you think, or B, I feel like because it's not an academic requirements, which at this point, I almost feel like it's more of an academic requirement than like, in order to get your degree, you have to attend at this, this fair and stuff. A good example of this problem is I'm also a student ambassador in the student C-bus, which is, this is student ambassadors. And the only students that were graduating last semester, we had like 8 people. The only one that had a job after graduating was someone that was in our club, the PSC business club. But everyone else, they just could not get anything and they're about to graduate. But I also asked them like, hey, what events have you done around campus? What career fairs have you attended?
Yep.
0.
Yep.
I find it a little silly that orientation is absolutely mandatory, but for the people that going in for their career, for their entire future, having somebody just never attending a single
Yeah.
career event, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we've set 2 goals as part of the university strategic plan, 100% experiential learning and 100% career engagement. So we want by 2030, we want every student to have engaged in career engagement. So going to a career fair, sitting with a career advisor, planning a future, writing a resume, getting it approved. And we want 100% of our students doing experiential learning, which could be an internship, apprenticeship, research, undergraduate research, study abroad. It's pretty broad definition of what engaged learning is. The last graduating class, 87% of them reported having done experiential learning.
Okay, good.
So we're feeling good about that. And then our career engagement rate right now is about 60%. So we've got 40% more by the time, for 2030. But what we're seeing is it's not just everybody using the C2 Hub, because C2 Hub could never do that with the resources they have. It's building these things into the curriculum. And faculty are really taking this to heart. Psychology, any psych majors in the room? Psyched to Work is a great program. Dr. Ansberg, Dr. Dillon, incredible, building it in. English department, any English majors? English is the single best here at any institution. It will prepare you for life as a vice president. I highly encourage you all right now, even if it delays your graduation by years, to go change your major to English.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
Yeah, fish.
Yeah.
Official
That was just a joke. But the English department is actually looking at how to incorporate career planning into their curriculum by taking some of their courses, and instead of 3 credits, they're 4 credits, and they put the career engagement into it. So if I had known as an undergraduate English major, I thought I was going to be a poet.
Sorry.
Laugh at my poetry. Laughed at my poetry. Wow, roses are red, violets are blue. You laughed at me, so now boo-hoo. Do you see what I could do with the power? But if it had been built into my experience, the first time I never visited my undergrad career center, the first time anybody in my English department talked to me about my future was at my graduation ceremony. That's when they brought in somebody to talk about career planning. So we're trying to do it right here.
Perfect.
But I appreciate the feedback. That's exactly where we're headed.
Good. That's what I had to hear.
Yeah, I probably have time for one more, and then I got to go try to get some money out of the Denver Broncos.
Oh, okay. And
We
you
have
have
to-
parlays, right?
I'm already late.
Okay, then I'm totally gonna steal this one because I
Okay.
can do that. Why did we say no to the art fee? Do you have any insight? Like what's the
I'm just gonna let somebody know I'm late.
sorry,
This is me vamping for time.
Tell them you're doing advocacy for the students.
yes.
Important work.
You're working right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
So here's what I would say. Here's the question. If you could only add one more $30 fee to a student bill, is this the $30 fee you would add? And there's no answer to that question because we haven't tried to answer that question. So the reason that the president asked us to pause is that we are taking a really deep look at student fees right now. And when we brought in the mental health stuff, it was like over years, these things have really built up. And I just re-registered a car. And I think the list of fees just for car registration was like this long, 30 things. I love the transparency. I don't know what half of them are or what they do. And so before we start adding new things, we want to make sure that we understand what we're doing now. And I would also say we need to take a holistic look at the budget overall. Is the money going to the right places where we want it to go, and what trade-offs do we need to make? So that's what the president is basically asking over the next year for us to do. She did not say no to it. She just tabled it.
Do we have a strategy for funding the arts?
The arts are funded. And so they get, I think it's, somebody on SAB may know this. I think it's about 250.
I believe so.
Yeah. And they also get base funding from their college. I know that they feel a pinch. Everybody feels a pinch. And I know that they do in particular, given their reliance on student workers to do things. And so this is in no way like that the arts are bad or that we don't like the arts or the arts aren't as important as other things. It is not even that it was about art. It was just, we need to pause for a second and take stock of where we are with our fees. I'll give you one more.
Thank you. With that, I mean, I'm sure President Livingston has considered all the factors, but I do want to remind the president that if they have not increased their fee in about 10 years is what they were telling us.
Well, they're funded right now through SAB.
Right. And that gets to my second point. If we are able to free up that funding.
Yep, that is definitely a benefit.
That would benefit
Definitely a
many
benefit.
different departments across the university, and especially with this new building coming in.
Yep.
I could see that being a major positive.
Yep.
For student build.
There's lots of upsides to it. I think that where do we stop adding $30 fees?
Right. It doesn't have to be that, just
Yeah.
potential increase might help.
Yeah. I think we're trying to be really good stewards of your dollars.
For sure.
Because at the end of the day, like you're paying, if you're a full-time student, you're paying almost $1,000 a year resident tuition, $11,000 a year to be here. Now, the average out of pocket is like $1,600. So we're doing a pretty good job of grants and scholarships.
Good.
But your fees are, I think, about $1,100 a semester right now for a full-time student.
Yeah.
So that's a big number. And I think we want to make sure that if we are taxing you, that we have exhausted every other opportunity to get the same outcome from it.
Sure.
And that's just where we are.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to run. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all of you. I'm going to tell the Broncos you said to give lots of money
Yeah.
or you'll stop watching all the games.
Yes.
Is that
It
right?
would be great, that 50-50, but with the Broncos,
All right.
at the Rockies.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Did any of you go to the women's soccer at Mile High? 63,000 people at Mile High Stadium watching the women's soccer team.
Wow.
Hey.
So
Awesome.
maybe we should do a 50-50 there.
Yeah.
All right. Bye all.
Thank you.
Okay, back to old business. I will pass the presiding chair back off to my co-chair, Patrick. Sorry for stealing.
I'll add the presiding chair. I need to use the restroom.
Then we can just go to new business and I'll keep going.
All right, go.
Yeah, okay. We'll table the old and go to new. Okay, resolution to fund tabling at RAD. Steffi. Sorry for the no warning, but
I guess I can pass it to Irvi, the author, since I only put in the agenda, but she's off.
Irby.
Resolutions to fund tabling Reporters After Dark, authored by Irvi Pal, endorsed by Floro, Tanawia Gomez. Abstract, the Student Government Student Advocacy Council, SGT-SAC Public Relations Committee seeks to engage with student body and promote awareness of student government at campus events. This resolution requests funding to support tabling at the Reporters After Dark RAD event hosted by CMEI, Center for Multicultural Engagement and Inclusion, through the distribution of plush toys and cotton candy for students, thereby fostering student engagement and visibility. Whereas the mission of the student government, the Student Advocacy Council, is to advocate for students and support initiatives that enhance student involvement and overall university experience. Whereas Reporters After Dark is an evening program hosted by the Center for Multicultural Engagement on April 29th that provides music, food, and interactive activities, fostering a sense of community and engagement among MSU Denver students, whereas the Public Relations Committee of SGT-SAC seeks to participate in RAD by tabling and distributing plush toys and cotton candies to engage students, increase awareness of student government, and strengthen student involvement with materials and supplies totaling $3,700. Therefore, be it resolved, the Student Government and Student Advocacy Council authorizes up to 3,700 from public relations budget to fund tabling at Rotors After Dark, including fresh toys and cotton candy for student engagement. Thank you.
See hands, Will,
Pending if the resolution passes, is a list ready?
The list is just the plush toys,
Right.
and we have like already ordered them,
Oh,
so.
okay.
Wait,
And the cotton candy.
the cotton candy, we have the supplies for the cotton candy, so that should be sufficient for the event.
Yep.
The plush toys haven't been ordered yet.
Well, yeah,
No,
no, I wanna
okay.
correct
So the
it
plush
because we're
toy-
not.
You go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, we cannot order the plushies, that hence the resolution right here. The total in the resolution is to cover only the plushies.
I'll go next. Sorry, my hand's been up inside my brain for a few minutes. The first whereas, I want to correct that. That's not our mission. Our mission statement is something, at least I believe.
Yeah,
This, yeah.
not correct.
I think, so I'm just gonna move, I guess the resolution hasn't been moved, but there's my comment.
Okay.
Our mission is not right in the first paragraph. Nathan?
Yes, so, do you have an estimation of how much these plushies will cost?
Yes, as I mentioned, the 3,700,
Yeah, but like, what's the actual number?
that's the actual
number.
number.
Okay, so that's up to, but it is 3,700. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes, that was an error on our end, in language.
okay.
Yeah, we already have it here.
No more than 3,000.
Yeah, allocations typically, you say a maximum number.
What we
Um,
say, that's a felony.
I'm curious, I know I asked for in this meeting for an update from the fund managers next week, but I'm also curious, where's this money coming from? Because we hadn't considered this previously, I think.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Like when we did the reallocation, I don't think this was even a line item listed on the PR budget. And so unless you're not gonna order tabling supplies or do food for finals, I'm very curious how we can spend almost $4,000 out of the PR fund right now. Will, go ahead.
I don't know, you're looking at me. I'm just saying, no, don't look at me. No, I was here for that meeting.
So you did see something,
No, like I was here for that meeting where you guys reallocated the budget.
right?
That's why I was confused. I was like, oh my gosh, where's this gonna come from?
Yeah.
I was here for you.
Yeah,
So to Sky's point, is there an answer to that?
the budget committee, that's an answer to that.
This was made before the reallocation passed, so we did not have discussion about the budget. And I think we need to keep the consideration about the reallocation again. And move forward with another activity with Brad,
Yeah.
since it doesn't cover our fund.
That's right.
I think it would be productive if we could see the spreadsheet, see how much we have. That would be the starting point. I don't think as far as the reconsideration aspect, I would be very cautious as to like redoing another reallocation, given that we have already set the precedent with the student organization that we are funding that. This is something to always consider when reallocating funds under pressure.
Nathan?
What is the contingency plan for reducing costs for the event? As in, is it just sold completely on plushies, or is the plan B?
Well, I guess the plan was just like to get the plushies because the cotton candy was already purchased. I guess to like trying to like save on the spot. I know we like budgeted for like school supplies, so I think we can not do that. I'm trying to do the math right now, looking at the budget. But I wanna say that we might have some, like, we might have the budget for it, but I'm not gonna say a yes or no. I'm doing that right now in my head.
I'll go next. Sorry, my hand's been up in my head. I will say a very confident no, PR does not have this money. Under the reallocation, we looked at, putting $3,000 toward food for finals and putting 1,700 towards school supplies. So even if we don't buy any school supplies, that's still just 1,700. Is Casa de Paz still 2,500, or did you guys get that down by like 1,000, or is that still about 2,500?
We did get that, we got it down to 1,830.
Okay, so there's a little bit there, but I don't think it's 37. Anyway, next hand. Which one of you wants to go first? Great, Will.
3 questions. Well, 3 things. Nathan, I'm assuming the plushies are from like the last year's event where people create them, right?
Yes.
Which was a very popular thing, which I don't see necessarily needing a contingency plan. Second thing for PR committee, just a word of advice, always come with your spreadsheets, your financial spreadsheets, anytime you're proposing anything. And this goes for people who are running for council next year. Always have your spreadsheets ready. Third thing, Stephen. What is TSAC, or what do you see TSAC's involvement in RAD? Because last year we were in the venue helping and directly, making the experience better for students. But this time I've heard that we are outside the venue.
There's gonna be 2 event venues here because of the closure of the JSSP lawn, so.
Right.
We had no real choice but to do 2 separate events. That's why normally it would just be one giant event.
Right.
You would all still be doing that same thing. In this case, we're having a pre-party and the actual event.
Follow-up question, is that in the grass area next to the gym?
Yeah,
Assuming?
it's in the Lawrence Street Mall, so between the gym and the lobby area, the library area.
Oh. Thank you.
I think it would be best to table this, considering that we don't really have too much of a current solution right now. That's my motion.
Oh, it's a motion.
Okay, I hear a motion to table. Before I continue, is there a second to that motion?
My second.
It's been seconded. I should know this because I'm the person that's supposed to do the rules, but I didn't bring my rule book with me. Is the motion to table debatable? It's in our rules we've written.
I think, yeah.
While we're finding the rule, you can talk, but it's not debate on the motion. Emma, go.
I just want to know, when does PR need, this is more of a question. When does PR need to have these purchased by to ensure that they come in time? Is this something that is tabled for next week?
I'm asking,
Because if no.
It is not tabled. We have to, it's an order like by today.
By today? Well, do you have those spreadsheets? Because I think that's a big holdup for most of us.
Yes.
Where are we financially?
Free converse, please.
So, yeah, if you have those spreadsheets.
I was gonna say, I just did the maths and we would be 503 and 17 cents short.
So you have to pull
Yeah.
potentially.
If we were to do food for finals and spend the same exact money, and the finals initiative spending the same exact money, and I already subtracted the remaining from Casa de Paz. Yeah.
Are we able to motion for monies to be moved around in the meeting? I don't know the budget chairs.
Okay, regaining back parliamentary control, sorry. A couple things that I heard, I think we'd be more than 500 something short, and that would be leaving our school supplies with nothing for the summer. And then as far as the question of whether or not we can reallocate, it's not in order for us to reallocate money via motion unless we have a 2/3 vote in this meeting to call for the budget to be reallocated, we adjourn, the budget committee convenes here. Budget committee does a reallocation, they adjourn, we reconvene, which is not gonna happen. So I don't think that's in order. What would be in order is if you were to have another fund manager put money into this resolution, be amending the resolution. But I just don't think that if we don't have the money, we shouldn't try to spend $3,700 on this. Not to say that it wouldn't be a worthwhile event. It's just, I think if we were gonna do this, we should have planned for it for the entire semester, or at least, at least a month or so in advance.
What if we make our money?
Okay, yes, okay. This motion table is not debatable or amendable. So raise your hand if you want to table this.
To table?
To table, raise your hand high. 3. Motion table fails. I'll find that it fails by verbal affirmation, just because I can. Back to debate on the resolution.
I made a quick phone call. Me and Matt are willing to give you the monies that you need if it is something you guys are truly needing, though. Meaning if you don't make that order today, it's going to affect TSAC and the students in the future.
I'll wait for response from
And
PR.
that comes from the chair. I don't know why he's not. I don't know if he's up there, but I got approval.
Okay, I'm gonna go, Steve, you wanna go first, Cynthia, go ahead. Dr. Brown,
A question.
yes.
Is it possible to lower the order less than 37?
I was about to ask. So I can just mention this. So with the order of 300 plushies with customized shirts, it's this price, 3,700. However, if you wanted to get it with plain shirts, it would go down to 3,225. If you wanted to get it with no shirts, it would go all the way down to 2,925.
Okay, so it's the shirts that
Yeah, it's a customized shirt.
custom shirts. Okay.
It's almost
But you can't
$800.
do like less than 300. It has to be 300.
We can run out.
Well, with no shirts. I guess that's something we
Or
can
it
like
has to be
discuss.
300. That was my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Patrick,
Yeah.
By the way, a motion to table doesn't necessarily mean like it's done for the day. Like it just means like we'll table it so we can reconvene at the end of the session while you have like more time to think about it.
I think it's okay to continue debating. I think the $500-something number that Steffi has at the moment is incorrect. And because we don't really have like the actual numbers in front of us, it's hard to verify that. I think if we kept it at 3,700, I think we're probably gonna be closer to 1,000 short. And that's with not doing some of the things we were already planning to do. And so on its face, we're 3,700 short, but if we take some, things away, I think we're gonna be closer to 1,000 short. And so if we were to decrease the order, then I think we're still short by a lot. And so I am, I don't know. I think the rest of the things we had planned were really important. And that's why I don't want to use this money and then prohibit us from being able to buy school supplies and more things. That's my debate. Pat, we'll go to Nathan.
I feel like we can just cut the order as the quantity. I mean, are people really gonna ruin their whole experience if they just miss out on a plushie? Especially since we have 150 that will be heading out. I mean, I don't feel like that's a lot of money that we have to reallocate or replan it just for plushies.
Can I get the perspective from the authors on why 300? What number is that set by, and why is it set in stone? I'm hearing sort of that it's set in stone. It has to be 300.
Stephen has it.
Or Stephen, the authors, or Stephen, anyone that has insight into why 300? That's my question. Stephen.
Yes.
Well, you said, are you okay? The company that we use for this has a minimum, and so the minimum that you have to order is 300. Up to 500 more, but the minimum is 300. As Stephanie said, each order comes in 3 options: 300 at a minimum with no shirt, 300 at a minimum with a plain t-shirt, 300 at a minimum with a customized shirt. What I will share with you all right now is the total TSAC available budget is $71,946. That is how much money you have in your workday account showing right now. $71,946.
Emma,
I feel like we could probably move some things around to make this possible. I think it looks good for it. I know it seems to some that it might like not matter that much because it's not gonna super change the experience, but it also promotes students back, gets us involved with the student body, is a way for them to come talk to us at these events. Even though, yes, it does come with a monetary cost, that's a way of us getting our names out there and also allowing students to come chat with us. Otherwise, it's not, and they were really popular last year, as last one.
That is true.
it's back to, do you want to go first?
I'm glad.
Great. We'll go to Will, then Stephen, then Patrick.
I know the council might be adverse to moving funds around, but I will again leave that option out for people to consider, if that is something to consider.
Cynthia?
I just talked to Stephen about this. If you all really do, because you have $71,000, depending on where your budget actually falls, and if you all need some additional funding, I would be willing to help support up to, let's say, $1,000 to help make this happen, if it's through like a co-sponsorship from my budget. If that would help making it happen, so with whatever funding you have, if you don't think you have enough money. So I'll just put that out there as an option.
Stephen?
Correction on what I just gave. Your remaining balance of your operating budget is $54,860. If you take into consideration village budget, which is $17,086, that is $17,000. I will also, I'm also willing to cut down on inauguration costs if that would help you all as well. And I can find some other money elsewhere on the to pay for inauguration.
Okay, so we can get to resolution. I'm going to sort of put the things on the table. So we have essentially an offer for a grant from Equity and Student Engagement of $1,000 to support us in this. And then we have the remaining 2,700, if we're going to keep the full order, the remaining 2,700 that we need to find. We have an offer from Accountability for what number?
130, what was it that you were saying?
For $500.
Yes.
We have an offer, so we have $1,500 found. Okay. How do we want to proceed? We would need to amend the resolution with a proposed language.
Yeah.
Any?
Can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, we need to amend the resolution language so that we're not allocating money from PR if we have it covered from another source. It sounds like Equity and Student Engagement is willing to give us a little bit of money if it's a co-sponsorship. So we also need to figure out some sort of paragraph to include about that. I am going to give time to the authors for that, and I'm going to adjourn us for 5 minutes. We're going to come back at 5. Yes, I'm going to recess us for 5 minutes. We're going to come back at 5. Please have a resolution taking into account those things ready with your motion to amend, please. Thank you. Or it does.
Do it on this.
Or it does, yeah, that's okay.
Money in their budget, correct? Like that's over $37,000. Some like Accountability sponsor your next event. Vote on this. I feel like that's all the same.
You're going to find letters from sustainability.
You know,
Yeah, no.
right? We can do that, right?
You're going to have my flyer from the table.
I just know you had the budget total, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's fine. So I don't know why we don't just vote on this and then Accountability or whoever can just sponsor the next thing you guys do.
Mhm.
And then.
For example, like food for finals,
Yeah.
right? Like,
That's fine.
but for that resolution, we will like make an amendment.
I have a point of clarification.
You're out of nowhere.
Where is this guy?
We're in recess, Matt.
Well, I still want to throw out that after the allocation, accountability is 1,000.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah. Matt, we were discussing maybe Accountability could sponsor for finals instead, so we could just vote on this.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Oh, this gets so weird.
Because of timing. Needs to be ordered.
Could you also mute our room mic so that any side conversations that happen out of our public meeting don't get recorded? Opinion, it's the council's.
No, that works.
Okay, so you guys are not intending for, okay, cool. I'm gonna call us back to order. I see a quorum of councilors in attendance. We're back from recess. Is our mic on yet? I can say that if I need to. Mic is on. Okay, wonderful. We are back on the point of the resolution to fund tabling. River's After Dark, PR, do you guys have a update? Sebi?
Yeah, so I guess the plan is to go ahead with this resolution to pass this so we can order the plushies, and then when it comes to time for finals, we will then look for support and co-sponsorship.
Right.
Can you clarify co-sponsorship from whom?
So for example, for like different committees, from Dr. Barone that she just mentioned, right? But I guess the reason why we don't want to amend this is just so we can approve this resolution, so then we can place an order for the plushie for the company, since we were told that today is the last day to place an order, so they can get here at the time we need them.
Okay, I'll see hands. We'll go to Will first, then Patrick.
Oh, sure. This is from,
Oh, Patrick.
but I will say.
Oh, Will, go ahead. Try to skip you if you.
I mean, it's
just adding this language about getting sponsorships that would change enough for people to want to vote yes on this resolution.
Patrick?
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure like you got a full understanding. So rather than getting sponsorships for this current event, we're gonna be seeking sponsorship for Food for Finals. And if that's the case, how much we're gonna have left over Food for Finals and how much from the sponsorships are we gonna be requesting for that? And if you already have a number for that, wouldn't it be better just to do a friendly amendment right here?
I'll go next. My hand's been up in my brain. Sorry, I know I keep saying that, but it genuinely has been. I don't think it would be in order for the accountability committee or the sustainability committee or elections or any other of the funds to help sponsor Food for Finals. I think the point of accountability committee jumping in and saying they would help sponsor this was because it was of such urgent nature as it had to be decided today that was in the best interest of the students. And so I think what we're describing as a reallocation in all but name, which in my opinion goes against the spirit of what our budget guidelines and procedures say. We've allocated a certain dollar amount to accountability, a certain dollar amount to PR and et cetera for the purposes of their fund, which Food for Finals sits squarely in PR and not really in anyone else. And so I think it makes the most sense for if we're going to fund this event, this tabling event with more money than just PR's budget, that we need to include it in this resolution with like a reason why, which could be a paragraph written. Otherwise, I certainly won't be voting yes on a resolution that spends more money than is currently in the PR fund. That's just not something I'm okay with. Emma.
I would disagree. I would say that this sits more with PR than Food for Finals, which could overlap with sustainability or like, which is a much more hands-on full council event, as far as it's kind of our main event. And then additionally, I guess spending this, like the other money wasn't already allocated, so I don't think and Food for Finals can fluctuate in cost, so I feel like it makes more sense to do our final event so that we're allocating like only as much as we need to and not taking money that we don't need to from somewhere else. So I'd rather run PR dry, essentially, because that is our main like defense funding. I think that makes a lot more sense than trying to proactively fund something. They have the right to kind of spend that money up until it's gone. And then at that point, I would encourage us to jump in.
I'll see other hand. That was your hand still up. Was that you?
Yeah, just
Go ahead.
y'all didn't give them a chance to respond.
Oh, did you guys want to respond to Patrick?
Do you have something
The
to?
floor is just
No,
open.
just a clarification, if you could get clear.
For the Food for Finals, we might not have that much of budget because last time when we funded for Food for Finals, it was like $200, I believe. Was it right, Steffi? $200 to $300 for Food for Finals.
I'm not sure.
It was 3,000.
Yeah.
It was,
No,
It's like $2,800.
Yeah.
If I remember properly.
definitely not hundreds.
we're gonna itemize this again because the Food for Finals has not been itemized in the budget. We're still planning for Food for Finals because we didn't think about this earlier since we were planning about Casa de Paz and other events. So, yeah.
But as of right now, the plan for the Food for Finals is that we're gonna be seeking a sponsorship from Center for Equity and like accountability, hopefully sustainability potentially. Is that the understanding as of right now? Is that where we're putting that?
And then I think we can also like, PR can like meet and then like look at the budget and maybe like decrease and try to see like, instead of just doing exactly like what we did for fall, to see like, you know, what can we take away, right? So I would estimate the total cost being lower than last semester's because of that fact. So I do think it is doable for PR to budget and make sure that, you know, we can decrease our
like our total budget for photo finance.
I think like the general consensus is we want to be able to participate in RAD. And so like, well, I'm not gonna vote yes on a resolution that spends money in a fund that we don't really have it there. I think we should like pass a resolution like this. And so I'm just gonna motion to amend this resolution for you. So I want to strike any mention of the public relations budget and instead just charge it directly to TSAC. And then the budget committee gets to figure out how we allocate that money and spend that through a reallocation, which would have to happen between now and our final meeting.
Do the authors find that friendly? Say yes or no.
Because the $3,700 that we did not account for in PR in our most recent reallocation. And so I think there's not the problem is we're missing $3,700. I think it's the budget committee's job to find it if TSAC wants to spend it. And part of that finding it might be, you know, seeking out additional funds from separate from TSAC, but I would be comfortable voting yes on this resolution if it was just charging it to TSAC and directing the budget committee to figure out where to put it.
Well, I'm not the author, so.
I mean, I don't have language to propose to you because that's like a philosophical idea.
Have to go work from the budget side also in the PR. So
So
you are saying like that we are going to reallocate the money to PR, or are we just considering the TSAC money as whole?
So TSAC has some total dollars if you add up all of our funds. What I'm saying is instead of us charging this $3,700 to PR, just charge it to TSAC, and it's the budget committee's job to allocate to find out where that goes, which would have to be through a reallocation or if they find it in the PR budget, but it have to be something like that. Because anyway, that's my sort of counter proposal of something that we can do in 5 minutes. You can easily write that paragraph language in I imagine 5 minutes. Which I'm not going to recess this again, but if you're interested in writing amended language, I'll vote yes on this. Otherwise, I'm a no.
or we could table.
Or we could table it and then nothing happens until next week, which I don't think is ideal for RAD's timeline.
Doesn't have to be next week. And see if it.
We could vote and it could fail too, but that's up to you guys.
Oh, it would be so negative.
These are the options.
I want to be so negative.
What could fail? It's not will fail.
Anyway,
I just have a question.
Oh, please. Sorry, we've been conversing.
No, please, where, I remember during, if this changed, this is an educational question. In the situations in the past, we've been able to vote online. Did that change? Did the rules
on
change?
what?
Online?
We're allowed to vote by ballot, yes.
Yeah, online, you mean like someone online or what?
Like after the meeting?
Oh, on Teams?
Yep.
We
did that in
Oh.
like emergency situations. I don't know. I'm wondering like what the Constitution says now.
It is.
Our rules of order do not prohibit that. They explicitly allow for like a ballot type thing over the Teams chat. We've never done it with resolution before, and I think it'd be a whack precedent to start that with. I think it makes a lot more sense to have some language fixed. I'm okay if you guys are okay with tabling this and we go back just until the end of this meeting. We discuss the other legislation on the agenda and we come back to this when you have language, or we can call for a vote, continue debate. I don't, that's to us, but
You can take your time. You can talk to other people.
yeah,
But don't feel pressured.
there's many options.
Just want
Yes,
to just write.
take your time. Don't rush into things.
You know, do you want to do that too?
Oh, yeah.
Madam, positive. Very.
But you do understand that from the public.
I don't think they need that one.
Then the common vote is going to be to the future. If that is allowed, right? Yeah. So let's do it. and we-
Which time are we reading this?
So
Until I type, we have to stop. Trying to be as kind as possible. Herbie?
So we decided that we'll strike up the public relations fund and then keep it to TSAC, making it as a friendly.
Okay, do you have language for that? to that effect to tell us?
Sorry.
If you need time to make that language, that's okay too. Okay, I'm gonna give you time for that. We're gonna add this to the end of business today, and we're gonna move on to the last thing on our agenda, which was the amendment that we had tabled earlier. So I'll pass it off back to my co-chair, and we'll come back to this once you guys have language.
You just start from your place. All right. We already read it, so I'm gonna just go back straight into discussion about it. Open the floor.
Go team. Okay, so the amendment, we've read it, we've talked about it. I would love to hear thoughts, dissent, affirmation. You like it, you don't like it, what's going on? Concerns with it?
Thank you. Ron?
I guess the biggest thing with this amendment, is that it takes away the blanket prohibition on people with a conduct record from participating in student government. Because currently, like, that's a population of students that is not like constitutionally allowed to be represented in here. And I view that as a problem because I think that, like, you know, as student representatives, we should want as wide a variety of experiences as possible in this room.
Maria?
With the elections commission, I guess this is a point of clarification. That, for example, would, in this case, if a person wanted to run, but they violated the student code of conduct, would they go to Denny, or how does that work by the elections commission?
If someone was found responsible for violating the code of conduct, then instead of it being a blanket prohibition on them, the elections commission has the authority to disqualify them if they feel that the violation would indicate that that person might be a risk to their fellow counselors or to the MSU member students in that role. That would be sort of the first step. So instead of it being like a qualification up there with GPA, so having a clean record of being up there with just like your GPA and being a student, it is taking it out of the qualification line at the top and saying the elections commission may disqualify if they look at this conduct record and they see that this person is likely to cause harm to their fellow counselors or to the MSU member students.
So it is Denny, right? Like,
It would be,
oh, it's
it'd
Denny.
be the elections commission. I believe under our constitution, Denny would be the role of elections commissioner, but I think we call them elections manager. I think the commission is right now just Stephen, Cynthia, and Denny. So that the elections commission makes a decision. That's a sort of separate entity from TSAC.
Direct response? Or Q?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think that the issue of including, usually the elections manager is filled by a student role, and usually they don't share student code of conduct and for obvious privacy reasons with students. Right off the bat, I feel like that would be problematic. You would have to kind of stop it at the advisor spot. Like advisors would have to have that discretion or, yeah, I don't know. I feel like personally, in my opinion, I think that we should leave this for next year's to pass because we are in an election cycle. It kind of, it wouldn't affect this year, but I think that we should let it be determined by next year. And I would advise us to get a little bit more research into this, looking at other student governments and potentially working with the advisors since they are ultimately the only ones that should and can be able to see student code of conduct.
Scott?
The law that protects our conduct records is FERPA. I think we've all heard that many times. FERPA protects our conduct records from leaving the university. So they're required to stay within the university, and within the university, only people with a need to know can access them. So there are plenty of times when students get to access your FERPA protected information if they are student employees.
Okay.
Or have some need to know as part of their role. I think that our elections commissioner absolutely has a need to know if in their duties, if in the Constitution it is, allowing a person to run or not based on their conduct file. In the same way with the GPA and the same way with anything else. But also this doesn't prescribe exactly how the Elections Commission has to decide what they do. This just says the Elections Commission makes a decision. Right now, if the Elections Commission makes a decision, that could just be Stephen and Cynthia saying what it is. And like, that's not for our Constitution to prescribe. I don't think so. It's just the Elections Commission, the people that are running elections and overseeing elections can say if this candidate, this potential candidate would be a risk to the students or to TSAC, they should not be on it. And I think that's more important than prescribing exactly how we like manage FERPA. That's for them to do.
Matthew, online?
Yeah, I was a little confused with some of the language in here. That with like appealing the decision, it's optional, but then it's required that it's disclosed voluntarily. Sounds kind of weird.
Quick response?
Yeah, the way it's currently written is that appealing is optional. So you can take, instead of appealing to the Accountability Committee, you can take the Elections Commission's decision as final. And so the choice of whether or not to appeal is final. Not final, is optional. So you get to choose if you want to appeal. If you want to appeal and you want to appeal to the Accountability Committee, that would be required for you to disclose your conduct file, because they would need to then review over it and say, did the Elections Commission make a mistake when thinking that you were a danger to TSAC or to the MSU Denver students? And so that would be left up to the individual student to decide if they wanted to or not. As of currently right now, there is no appeal process. And so you don't even have that option right now. This would be adding the option.
Something I wanted to add, mentioned this earlier. I do see like you gave the opportunity, accountability to check in that power for the Elections Commission. However, I feel like this would be a decision too heavily onto our government and to those individuals associated with that. I prefer it to be something that, as we have right now, where the individuals who hold this standard is from our university itself, which is reviewed annually. And this is something that has been reiterated before. So if maybe we could add like a different sort of language, not necessarily giving the power to the Elections Commission, neither the accountability, rather specifying on the recent conduct or active conduct from recent violations and cases that we have from MSU Denver. Students who are found responsible by evidence or violation of student code of conduct, whether that be academic conduct, cheating or plagiarism, personal conduct, or general misconduct, shall be disqualified from candidacy or subject to removal from office. Not exactly removal from office, but I feel like that could be something we could add as well. I think that's what we should have, because academic honesty as well is something that would be impaired. And as much as making more students to go through a whole loophole, not really loophole, como se dice, like a whole, I don't want to say maze, but
Process.
that like a whole process in order to do that, I feel like that would be added work on our accountability and not necessarily unnecessary responsibility on our Elections Commission. Okay.
If you look to previous years of TSAC's elections, you'll see this one rule, this no record of student misconduct per MSU Denver's codes of conduct applied differently. At times it's applied blanketly, like this year, where anyone with a record of student misconduct will not be allowed to run. At times it is applied with that sort of discretion that's sort of being talked about in this amendment. And so I think what this amendment would do would be taking us to a place where the Elections Commission does have that leeway to say that a person is not disqualified just because they have a record of conduct. It's only if that conduct would likely cause them to be a danger to their, or harm, is what the word says, likely cause them to be harmful in the environment of TSAC or the MSU Denver students. I guess the reasoning that I think that it is important to appeal to the accountability committee, and that's sort of the appeal body, is because we TSAC write the requirements to be in TSAC. So we say it's 2.5 GPA, it is being a student with 9 credit hours distributed throughout the academic year. We're the ones that set that. And so I think we're changing the expectation of it's not just no record of student misconduct. We're essentially saying it's not a record of student misconduct that's going to mean that you're a danger to us. But then I also don't think that every candidate should have to submit their conduct file to TSAC to then adjudicate that. That doesn't make any sense. And that's why I think leaving it to the employees, which is the elections commission, makes a lot more sense to me. And only if their decision is deemed by the candidate to be incorrect, like, no, I'm not a danger to the students, that they would then voluntarily be able to appeal to the accountability committee to say, it's like the spirit of our Constitution and restorative justice. Do we think that this sort of conduct check would apply to this person?
It's 5:23.
It is.
Emma, Maria.
I was just gonna say that I think that any appeal to the accountability committee is pretty problematic because if those students are running, which is their right to rerun if they're running again, is automatically a like conflict of interest, either in any direction, whether you want that person to run or not. It can sway or change an election, and I just think that having students make those decisions, in my opinion, is just problematic because it can be
Yeah,
like conflict of interest.
I concur. Maria.
I also agree with Emma, and I also will say that I feel like if we do give the responsibility to the sustainability committee to decide,
Accountability.
accountability, decide whether or not we should allow this person if they violated the student code of conduct. I think in a way that would show a bit of hierarchy, and it would give some council members more power because then they would be able to decide who can and who can't run, if they violated the student code of conduct.
Yeah, I'll respond to this too. I think that the accountability committee is sort of charged with evaluating their own bias. And I think that what would make sense if this was in the Constitution would be guidelines and procedural language around what a conflict of interest would look like in the situation. If someone was a candidate but not involved in the conduct section, are they disqualified from voting on this in the accountability committee, et cetera? And what it looks like if the entire accountability committee were to be conflicted off. I think that's something that absolutely could be set once it's in the Constitution. It could be set as guidelines and procedures. As to the question of whether or not we would be then giving like the accountability committee additional authority, I don't think it's authority. I think it's more responsibility to evaluate our Constitution and say in this one section, it leaves it more open-ended on for a case-by-case basis to look at the spirit of our Constitution, which is restorative justice, and say, do we think that this person, their record would mean they would be disqualified? And so I think just like any other, just like me chairing a meeting, not right now, but previously, earlier today, chairing a meeting is additional power, but at the same time, it's more responsibility than power.
I'm kind of seeing the same thing going back and forth. I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution. Amendment. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. I did it all 2 saying.
I'll move it to the floor.
Move it to the floor. I think by this we'll go by roll call.
I'm fine with a verbal affirmation.
Oh, that's okay.
However, I do see.
It wouldn't be seconded though.
Yeah. Okay. I'll begin with,
It wouldn't be seconded.
I'll go from Sky.
My motion would need to be seconded.
Oh, is there a second to the motion to move it to the floor to vote on? This resolution? This amendment?
We're tired.
The amendment is,
I motion to adopt the amendment.
yeah, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second, all right. I'll go by roll call. Sky Childress,
Yes.
Patrick Silvera, no. Lynn Coates, Okay. Rowanese,
Yes.
Irby Paul.
No.
Maria Garcia,
No.
Steffi Calero,
No.
Emma Fox.
No.
Online,
No.
Matthew Rathbone. Okay. That is two yeses and 7 noes. Motion fails, amendment fails. Moving back, I want to go to hand it off to Sky so we can
Yeah.
finish the other.
Okay, we are back. Rovers After Dark, do we have proposed proposed language to change? Or do you want to continue with discussion?
The language has been changed.
I need to clarify. I need it to be voiced into the record what changed from the thing that was noticed to us.
So, the first whereas changed to our mission statement, which was incorrect, and
Did you say exactly?
the abstract has been changed.
So Irby, let me clarify. I motion to amend this resolution to where the first whereas says the mission and continues to be, I need that type of language so that we can then either consider that motion that's been made friendly or vote on it.
Say like a robot.
Yeah, you can't just change it, sorry, because we had to have notice of it and everything, so.
Okay, so, the abstract. The first abstract has been, I can't say change, right?
So just articulate the changes in a way that's clear to the record.
Okay. Has been made to the student government instead of putting down to public relations committee. And the first whereas the mission statement has been like,
Let's do one of these at a time. Okay, so in the abstract, it starts with the student government, the student advocacy council, public relations committee. You're saying strike out public relations committee?
yes.
So it's just the student government, the student advocacy council seeks to engage.
Mhm.
Okay, will someone move that amendment? So just say I motion that. I motion that, just say that.
I motioned that.
The motion by Patrick, is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Seconded, is that amendment friendly?
Mhm.
We've incorporated that. Now, to the first whereas,
To the first whereas, the entire whereas has been striked off and written down to the mission of the student government statement. To support the evolving needs of the MSU Denver students by advocating in their best interest to enhance the university experience and opportunities.
okay, I get to decide what time is because I'm the timekeeper. So I hear this motion to amend that to that. Is there a second? Okay, is that friendly? Okay, now the time is 5:30. Do I have a motion to extend by 5?
I motion to extend the meeting
I second it.
by 5 minutes.
Wonderful. I'll recognize both of those. Motion by William, seconded by Patrick. Okay, so the mission statement, and whereas on the first one has changed, what's the next?
Therefore, be it resolved, the public relations budget has been striked off and it keeps to that student government, the student advocacy council authorizes up to 3,700.
Okay, hearing a motion to strike the words from the public relations budget from the first, therefore be it resolved. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, is that friendly? Wonderful. We'll move on. Any others in here? Is that it? Okay. Wonderful. More discussion or hands?
Motion to approve this resolution.
So moved. I'll call a second by Emma. Is there any further debate? Okay. Oh, Will.
1 point. Again, I can't emphasize enough for everyone in the future, bring your spreadsheets.
Please. Okay, we're gonna do unanimous consent at the start. Any opposition to this resolution? Seeing none, the resolution passes. Congratulations. Did it. Now we go on to open floor and new business. Is there any open floor in new business?
Motion to
Seeing none, I'll hear a motion to adjourn from Emma. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Maria. Is there any opposition? We are adjourned.